Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If it is your first time, welcome. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you enjoy the video, and if you do, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We are currently looking at the Galileo 3. It is a ship that I did purchase, and I'm going to show you how to change this ship, the Galileo 3, to an actual monster. So we're going to go from this ship, the Galileo 3, and we're going to change it to this, the Black Widow. Now it's going to look a little bit different when we're done. You're going to have a ridiculous amount of fuel, the hull is going to be higher, and the cargo capacity is going to be absolutely insane. So instead of going through too much, let's just take a closer look at the Black Widow, and let's get right into making this ship. And if I am going too fast, don't worry about it. You can always slow it down and rewind it. We're actually going to destroy the hell out of this ship right now. So the Galileo is going to be destroyed and completely gone in just a few moments. So we're going to move the first part of the Galileo, which is the landing gear, off to the side. Now you need 5 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That engine bracer, that engine mount, I'm sorry, does count as one of them. And then we have that one there. So there has to be 5. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And what we're going to do is we're going to delete all this crap. So I know what you're saying. Why buy the Galileo? You don't have to. You can make this out of any ship that you want. The Galileo just has... the Galileo is what gave me the idea for this ship. Now I'm not going to take the... I'm not going to take that landing bay off first yet. First I'm going to move the cockpit to the front. We're going to delete all that. We're basically going to delete everything off of here. So if you have a ship already, there's only one window in this entire ship, so we're going to keep that one there. If you have a ship and you want to change it to the Black Widow, you can do this. If you have Dark Star manufacturing, you already have a leg up on this. You'll be able to make a ship for under 5,000, maybe 6. As you can see in the upper right hand corner, taking this apart, they already owe us money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to landing bay. We're going to get the NG6 landing bay, and we're going to make sure that the first part is connected to the cockpit, and we're just going to move it over. So you can see in the upper right hand corner, they owe us 36,000 credits. Now the reason I put that there is because I don't want anything to fall into the under the grid here. So we're gonna go into the HAB section, and I'm a fan of Hope Tech, and I'm a fan of Nova Galactic, more Nova Galactic than Hope Tech. So we're gonna go to Nova Galactic. There's the armory, and we're gonna go up to Hope Tech for the captain's quarters, 2x1. I'm going to take this little window by itself because it goes to the back of the captain's quarters, and that is the only window for the entire ship. Now that the Nova Galactic armory is there, now you'll be able to get from the landing bay to the Nova Galactic armory and to the cockpit. Now we can take that off. We'll duplicate this and put it in the back, and nothing fell below the grid, but we're gonna go ahead and push this up. If you're playing on Xbox, to grab everything all at once, it's the LB button. Press A and then you can move it any way you want. If you're on the PC, it is double click and then hold, and then you can move it any way that you feel like you want to move it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the structures, and we're actually going to grab some of these things first just to get them, because we are going to use them in this making of this ship. So if we come across pieces that we're going to use, we're going to just move them off to the side. Okay, so what I'm looking for is the before section, and it's going to be the glowing white one, and that's what's going to go in the front of our landing gear. So we're going to put that there, and we are going to duplicate that and put it on this side to match. Okay, I'm going to move that a little bit closer, and actually I'm going to move it closer to the other side. The only reason I'm doing this is moving them so close together is it took a long time for me to do this without screwing it up, and I looked over and over and over again, and I still kept screwing it up, and it took forever to make this damn thing. Even though I had it in my head and I knew how everything worked, it still was just driving me insane. Alright, back to the halves. We're going to go into the Nova Galactic. You can use any halves you want. You do not have to use the halves that I'm using. So, because, like I said, I like Nova Galactic and Hope Tech. So we got the Nova Galactic workstation, and now we are looking for the Nova Galactic Science Lab. And that's going to go on the opposite side there. Now we're going to go back into the habs right above, and we're going to use a companionway and put it there. On this side, you can either use a companionway or a storeroom. I use a storeroom, so you can have that looking that way. Okay. Now let's move this over some more. I am going to be changing the colors so you can see what it looks like in the finished product. But let's go back to structures. And we are going to be using, looking for, it's hard to look for some of the stuff from Aventech, because he puts so many things here. It's very difficult to see everything, and he makes it very hard to get through all of it, because all the stuff that's made from a mod is going to come in front, and I probably am going to skip over. We do need a radiator. We're going to need 2 of these. So we're just going to move those over to the side since we're in the structure section anyway. I may have passed what I needed. So if you hear some silence, it's just because I'm just concentrating. So we're going to go up, because we are looking for a couple things. We're going to grab a couple other things that we're going to need for this ship. Normal things that are from the, just normally from the game, like the Deimos wing. We need 2 of these, one facing that way. We're going to duplicate it and flip it. I'm going to put them together, but that's not what they're going to look like when we're done with the ship. So I'm just putting them together to keep them there and make sure that they are out of the way for now. So let me see. I wonder why everything is so dark. We do need the Aventech decorative warp engines, or mini engines. We're going to have multiple ones of those. And again, they're just decorative. They don't change anything. They don't make anything happen to your ship in terms of speed or anything. So this is what we're looking for. The trophy skulls. As you can see, Aventech put some trophy skulls. There's a skull there. There is another. He has a satellite. He has a fish. We're not looking for the fish. We're looking for the blade. And we need 2 of these. So, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to color this to the way that the ship is, so that you can see what the blade is going to look like when we put this on, because the blade has to be white to match fangs. So we're going to change this to white, as much as possible. Not go crazy white, but we're gonna go enough to make it white without going absolutely nuts, so that can imitate fangs for a black widow. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to repeat the process on this side, and then we're just going to duplicate this and punch it right there. So those two fangs go on the front of the workbench, the workstation, and the science lab. Let's decorate this. I've never been happy with this color. It doesn't really go. It's a nice decorative piece, but I've never been happy with the color. So it all depends on what it looks like when it's connected to the black. And let's try switching that. No. Actually, you know what? I like it like that. We're going to keep it black like that. So let's duplicate that and put it on the other side. Okay. Now, none of those pieces up there are going to come into play just yet. So let's go to the next thing. We're going to equipment first, and I do use Darkstar. Actually, engines. I'm sorry. I do use Darkstar, and you can see the thrust and the engine maneuverability there. But depending on what you're using in terms of the level that you're playing on, if you're playing on extreme and if you have the system levels, it is a challenge. The engines are not going to help you move any, like make any special killings, but it will get you out of a tight spot, especially now that I decided to use two of my weapons that I fire manually. Now with this, it has a max power of 3, which means you can have 4 of these engines. Now we're at equipment, and we're going to get the Darkstar cloaking device, which gives you the same effect that you have when you have your starborn ship, so that when you take off and thrust, you should turn invisible. There is a mod out there that has it, a mod that's just for that. But if you have Darkstar, you pretty much have everything in there. So we're just going to color this black, and then the inside is going to be white. We're going to move that off to the side just now. Since we are in equipment, we're going to go down to Darkstar Jammer Mark IV. There are different ways that this can look. There are, I believe, 5 different ways that this can look, but I went with the very last one. And let's see how we can color this one. I don't remember what color I put this in, because you guys have to remember, I do the video and then I do the voiceover after. So, but that's, I think that's the color I stayed with. Or no. It all depends. It's definitely not going to be all white, because there's a reason why it's called the Black Widow. The only thing that should be white is just a few pieces. But regardless, whatever color it is, it's not going to be seen. You're not going to be able to see it anyway. So we're actually going to leave it that way. We're going to take this jammer, and this is a frequency jammer. What we're going to do is we're going to place it under there. It's out of sight. Nobody can see it. Okay. I'm going to take the cloaking device, and that is going to go... Actually, it doesn't go there. It goes right there above the captain's quarters. And since we're at the captain's quarters, let's go to shields. And again, I'm using Darkstar. Now, I don't want you to get we're going to use the Darkstar XDA 23C deflector array. I just want to make sure that you guys know, just because I'm using Darkstar and the shields and everything look like they're super and they'll protect you at all cost, it's not what you think. It is, if you're doing this and you're using regular weapons. I don't use Darkstar weapons. They're too overpowered in my opinion, so that's the only thing I don't like about them. But if you're using regular weapons, you're firing them yourself. This is not the right color. Your shields can go down. You can take on an armada, but you're not going to be standing there non-stop if you go to Crix before you even do the Crimson Fleet. If you go to Crix, I used to test my ships, like the Forerunner that I used to have. That one was even before I started using Darkstar. I would make that ship the Forerunner and go, and that's where I would test it. If I could test it and it worked fine, taking on the armada from the Crimson Fleet, then I knew that the ship was fine. And I still know how to make that ship, by the way, so if anybody wants me to make a video of that ship, I can. Alright, so what the hell did I do next? We are going to go to get the grav drive, and with the grav drive I am using Darren Tech. And it doesn't matter how I color this one, because you're not going to be able to see it. But the reason I like Darren Tech, and there are better reactors in here. So if you have Darkstar, that's one. Darren Tech is another, and Avon Tech is another mod that you can download. The reason I like this one is because it looks like a hab. So it's going to fit perfectly under a hab, so we don't have to look at it. Now, as far as the reactor goes, we're going with the Darkstar XR6 2C utility core. It can look different ways. There are 4 different ways it can look, but I went with straight way it looks there. We're going to color this one as well. When I was making this, I was like, why does it look so much darker than the actual Black Widow? And then I didn't want to go back out and look at the Black Widow one more time, so it doesn't matter for, actually it doesn't matter for me, because I'm just showing you how to make this ship. You can color it any way you want. You don't have to name it the Black Widow. You can name it whatever you want, change it to whatever you want. That's entirely up to you. That's just the way I'm doing mine. Now we're going to start adding some cargo to this, and I am using Darkstar. So we're going to put weapon mounts on here. These are discrete cargos holding 1,000. We're going to put 3 of them here. Now, just because they look like weapon mounts doesn't mean that they don't function as weapon mounts, because they do. Let me grab one of these, because this is going to go one here, and then we're going to take another one and put it right there. Now there will be some weapons on this, so it's not just going to be just for cargo. So we're going to put one there, another there, and another there. And you can see our cargo is up to 8,500, and now it's at 9,500, and it's going to go up one more time, 10,000. Okay. Now we're going to grab, since we're in the cargo section, let's grab some more cargo. You do not have to take the Darkstar cargo, but this one holds 7,500, and the others hold 1,000 or 2,000. So I go with this one because it holds a lot. And you want some cargo space, but you still want mobility and you want top speed. This is going to allow you to keep that. So this is going to go there, and then this is going to go below that. because we want one engine up, one engine down. Same thing on this side. So we're going to duplicate that and move it over. We're going to put this engine under there as well. Oh. So again, one up, one down, and we're going to take these. Let me see, do I have everything? Yeah, we do. Okay. I was losing my mind for a minute. So we're going to take these in decorative. Again, they don't do anything. They're just there for show. We're going to put those there. Now, we're going to go to Habs again. And what we're looking is for this Nova Cross Passage. I don't know why it's in the Habs and not the structure section, but it is what it is. I'm going to lighten this up a little. I don't like it being as dark as it is, so I'm going to put a little bit more gray. Any white that you put on it, you're not really going to see. So this is going to connect to the back window of the workstation and the back window of the science lab. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab this whole thing over here. Let me fix this color. Yeah, that's fine. So again, LB and A, again on the computer, if you're on the PC, is double click and then move. So while that one goes to the end of that one, this is going to go to the front of the armory. We're going to move this over and the ship is connected now. So now we're going to go to Dockers. And I like the Deimos Slim Docker. I always have. You can color this one as well. There's a mod that allows you to color almost everything, including your weapons. So now let's take this grab drive. We're going to put it right below the captain's quarters. And then we're going to take one of these decorative and we're going to put it right there as well. And we're going to go ahead and take the utility core or reactor and we're going to place it right there. There's supposed to be a gap there. We're going to fill that in a moment. So we have everything there. What we're going to do here is we're going to duplicate that, and what we're going to do is put it right behind, or I'm sorry, right in front of the grab drive and behind the landing gear. Now we're going to take these glowing white reactor vents, radiators, I'm sorry, it's late for me, and that's what's going to cover the gap there. Okay, so the ship is coming together. Again, if I'm going too fast, you can slow everything down, or if you want me to, you know, I mean, I'm not going to make this video again. It was enough trying to make it the first time. So let's just change the color of this. There was something else that was covering that to kind of hide the grab drive and everything else that was going to be there. I mean, not the grab drive, the reactor. But, sorry if I yawned. We're going to take this wing. These wings are going to go onto the side of the cockpit. And I can't make the cursor move any faster. These need to change color to match. Again, this is, I'm only making it black or dark gray and some white in there because of what I named the ship and the way it is. Of course, again, you don't have to make it this way. You can make it any way you want, any halves you want. This is just to give you some idea of how this is the way it is now. This ship is fast. It is a beast when you're fighting, but you are not invulnerable. So you will have to take off from time to time. So I am using Dark Star, and you can use any fuel you want, but this one gives you 400. If you use the regular one, it's only going to give you 210. So if you go with Dark Star, and if you don't know already, you know, Dark Star is something I would definitely recommend to download as a mod. Dark Star Manufacturing, Dark Star Astrodynamics. It's definitely something that I would recommend. So now, under, it's going to look like you have, that one's going to go right in front of the reactor. And under here, it's going to look like you have 5. Okay? But you're actually going to have 6 because there's one on top of them, one of them already. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th one is on the right side right here. And that is where we're going to put our radiator. It's the best way to hide it. I was using something else, but it was blue, light blue on it, and I couldn't get rid of that color. They didn't have what we needed in white, so it was just annoying. The ship is complete right now, but we have 3 warnings. The warning is because we don't have any weapons on it right now, but we don't have all the cargo we need yet either. So we're gonna go to weapons. No, we're gonna go to cargo. Let's do all the cargo first. When you're doing Dark Star, make sure that you pay attention to, I think I made a mistake here, but make sure you go from, that one only starts at 500, where that one starts at 1,000. So we're gonna make several of these because they're gonna go around the ship, but we're gonna color them the same way as the cloaking device. And then we're just going to duplicate, because there's a few that's going to go through here. And these discrete cargos is what's going to give us everything that we need in order to reach that over 100,000 in cargo space. And that's why they put the mods on here. Now, if you're asking, can I make this ship and give it a lot of cargo space without using Dark Star? Absolutely. I can make it where I've had the Forerunner for a while. That was my old ship. And I made that before with close to 65,000 without using this. But it took a hit on the mobility and the top speed. So I had to do something else with it. We're going to go to the Dark Star cargo again, and we're going to grab these 2 little pieces. They each give us 1,000. So now we're up to 4950. And we're going to go again, and now we're going to use these equipment plates. Now these equipment plates, everything that Dark Star Manufacturing has created, like a weapon mount or a utility plate, it functions exactly the way it is. So there will be things on here. There'll be weapons mounted on there. So we're going to put one there, and then I'm just checking to make sure. Put one there, and then yeah, we're going to skip that one and put it there, because we're going to put something different in that little spot. Just something cool for aesthetic purposes only. No other reason whatsoever. That's it. We're at 55,000 for cargo, but we're not finished yet. What the hell was I looking for? Oh, let's look for that. Or no. Yeah, let's look for that. We're going to go into structures, and I'm looking for something in particular. There we go. We're just going to put this on here. It's not going to interfere with the Docker because the Docker's on the left hand side of the ship or the port side of the ship. And I put this on. It doesn't serve any purpose. It just looks, in my opinion, it looked pretty cool. So I put a satellite dish on there. We can't put a deflector dish on there. And those big ones don't do jack shit. So I don't know what we're supposed to do there. We're going back to cargo. We're going to go back to Dark Star. Again, you don't have to use Dark Star. But I do, just for the simple fact that it is able to hold a lot. This one, for example, holds 5,000. And we're just going to... I think... Yeah, we're just going to leave it that color. Only for the simple fact that I don't want it to look too out of place, too dark. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. And color it the same way. 5,000 again. Okay. We are now up to 65,050. Now I know what you're saying. This is not over 100,000. If you have done all of your used your points for your your payload, things like that, you're going to get a little bit of boost when you get inside the ship. But we're going to take 2 equipment plates and put them there so that we can get to 67. You can put some more on the other 2 that are sitting behind that in terms of the other 2 fuel tanks back there. So you can see the hull is 3301, 45 for the shield, 6750. Only 4 crew, and it's going to stay at 4 crew because I'm not going to add a crew control station. That would add more people to it. So what I'm doing is just making sure there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. Now, even though this is a cloaking device, I'm looking at just the domes themselves to make sure that they're right. So that's 8. And now let's go to weapons. I do not use Dark Star, like I said earlier. As much as I appreciate everything that Dark Star Manufacturing does, and they do a lot. I mean, you can make this ship right at the beginning. You can make this at the beginning. You can make your hab at the beginning, but I mean your hab, your own outpost at the beginning, but the weapons are too overpowering. So I'm going with the Vanguard Auto Projector Obliterator. It's got a good fire rate of 6.65. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but because it has a max power of 2, you're able to have 6, and the range is 3,000. Every weapon that I use is 3,000 or more. So we're going to put 1 there, and that's 1 there. That's 2. We're going to come under here, and we're going to place this right under the cockpit, and another one there. And we're going to put this here. And there. There's your 6. Now we're going to go for the next one. Now, before I used to have... Those were always ones that I would fire manually. And then what I would do is I would have 2 other ones that were just auto turrets that would fire on their own. But I decided to change that up and fire one of them on my own. So I could have 2 that I fired and 1 that still fires alone. So I used to have the PBO 300 Auto Alpha Turret. Now I use the PB 300 Alpha Beam. And we're going to change the color on this one. Don't want it white. I want part of it white, but that looks good for me. So one of them is going to go there, and because it has a max power of 3, you can have 4 of them. It has a slow fire rate of 1.5, but it does a lot of damage in terms of 55.96, I believe it is. So even though it has a small fire rate, that particular one, the PB Ultra, the PB Alpha Beam, and the next one that I'm going to put on, even if you only have 1 bar left, which is this one I'm going to use, the Auto Obliterator 250 MEV Alpha Turret, even with just 1 bar, both of those shoot a full power blast. So if your weapons are going out and you still have those functional, it's a full blast. So the ship is finished, but we have 1 error. The only error that we have is because we have not assigned the weapons to where they're supposed to go. Now, I always get confused on where the weapons go in terms of which one I'm going to be firing. So I always end up putting them in the wrong place. And then I have to go and give it a try and give it for a test drive, see what it's like, and then go up. So I can't remember which one is which. So I think I got this one wrong when I first put it together. But for the sake of doing this right now, we're just going to put these on. And I know I put them in the wrong place. Just saying that, I know I put them in the wrong place. Because I want to be able to use the triggers, the R and the L trigger to shoot. The Y button I do not want to use. And let me just look around and make sure that I have everything that I want on this ship completed. This is just to make sure that I'm not throwing you guys off. And again, if you can use any hab that you want. You don't have to use Dark Star if you don't want. It won't give you the same thing that you have here, but it will give you what you need. Now, you're still going to see a little bit of a difference. Now you're going to see that the Galileo has a shield of 7200. When I go inside, it's going to be higher. The hull is at The hull is at 3345, and you now have 105,000 cargo space. Now, I used to have 50 or 60 on the one before this that was the Valkyrie, and I ran out of space because I was on 3 different planets getting all these materials, and I had no place to put them. So I was putting them in the cargo containers that were on top of the terminus landing pad, and not having a lot of space. I wanted a lot of cargo this time around. So let's go ahead and change the name of this from the Galileo 3, because it is no longer the Galileo 3. Now, for some reason, there's only 105,000 on here, but I have more on the Black Widow, which is weird. I don't know where I went wrong, but either way, you're over 100,000 in cargo space. Still over 2,000 in fuel, and the hull is at 3345. So let's take a nice little quick tour of the inside of the ship. And this is where we come in. Now, people confuse this. This is not the armory per se. This is the hallway to the armory. All you have are your mannequins there. That's not the actual armory. It's just where your mannequins are. The armory, it may be part of it, but the armory actually starts after that. So this is where the armory is. Now if I had oops, if I had the pieces, well, I can make these pieces, but if I had the pieces, this would go here, so I can do my recycling. And the service bounty and the mission board would be on the bridge. So that is the armory. Now let's close this out and open this up. Usually when I do this, the captain's quarters are in the front and the armory's in the back, but here's the Hope Tech captain's quarters, and there is our one single little window that really doesn't show us anything, but it's nice to cover it up as opposed to having it not have anything on it. So we go to the left here. Here's our workstation completed with all the workbenches we need. And then through here we have our docker. And to tell you the truth, I've had the docker on the side before, but it was not on the top like that. And I really like the way it is on the top there. So here's the science lab. And we can go in here and you can see all my research is done. This is including all the Dark Star research. And we turn around, and this is the storeroom that we put here, Nova Galactic storeroom. And again, this is only a crew complement of 4. So if you're feeling generous, which sometimes I'm really not, but if you're feeling generous and you feel bad for characters who aren't real, feel free to make a bunk bed, turn it around, and just place it there. If you feel sorry for the people that you really don't care about, and make it, I don't give a shit if they have a place to sleep, sit, or anything like that. It really doesn't bother me at all. Let's head to the bridge. And if you've ever been on this bridge before, there's nothing special about it. It's just a regular bridge. There is my inventory. I got some stuff there. Oh. So let's take off and see what it looks like while we take off. It looks a little grungy because of the, it's funny, when I was making this video, it's raining inside the video and it was raining and thundering outside in real life, in my real life, while I was making this. So top speed of this is 227, and then when you thrust, the top speed is 1337. Now, oh yeah, by the way, you see this flashlight? There is a mod that fixes the flashlight. If you are using a regular and you're not using the mod to fix a flashlight, this will be right up top with Dark Star, believe it or not. Improving the flashlight. Look at how much light it gives, how much bigger it is as opposed to that little mini light that they give you when you start. This one brightens up so much, gives you the opportunity to see a lot more. So I would recommend grabbing this as a mod. It's right up there as number 1, tied with Dark Star. Even though you get a lot more with Dark Star, I like to be able to see shit when I go anywhere where it's dark. So that's it. That is the Black Widow. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Hopefully you subscribe to the channel. If you want me to make another ship like my old one, the Forerunner, let me know and I'll do that. Until then, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video.